Hello and welcome to New Frontiers on CCTV International. I'm Ji Xiangjun in Beijing, and today we're continuing with our major series about Chinese Kung Fu. In this program, we'll be hearing all about Jeet Kune Do. As a martial art, Jeet Kune Do embraces both a system of fighting techniques and an entire philosophy. It owes much of its popularity to the man who founded it, leading martial artist, actor and cultural icon Bruce Lee. Widely regarded as the most influential martial artist of the 20th century, Bruce Lee was born in San Francisco and raised in Hong Kong. As a movie actor, he took traditional Hong Kong martial arts films to a new level of popularity. In the West, his films opened people's eyes to Chinese martial arts.
20% of the moves are fist strikes. The remaining 80% are kicking moves. Force is controlled from the waist and movements are executed from a squatting position. The high kicking moves are as fast as lightning, so fast they always take the opponent by surprise. The two-section cudgel is wielded with a force that is swift and fierce. This practitioner's skills have reached perfection. At one time, Jeet Kune Do, a unique form of Chinese martial arts, was very popular in the West, due to one man. In his legendary life of just 32 years, Bruce Lee, the founder of Jeet Kune Do, made 4 kung fu films that took Hollywood by storm, in the process creating an oriental legend with his unique Jeet Kune Do boxing and martial arts philosophy that others could only attempt to imitate. His films created a great passion for practicing martial arts, and his martial arts skills became so idealized that his name became a synonym in the West for all Chinese martial arts. The second son of Li Haijuan, a famous Guangdong opera singer, was born in San Francisco, USA on November the 27th, 1940. Li Haijuan gave his son a Chinese name, Li Jianfan, and an English name, Bruce Lee. The following year, Li Haijuan and his wife took their baby with them to Hong Kong. According to the Chinese lunar calendar, Li Jianfan was born in the Year of the Dragon. When he started his filmmaking career in Hong Kong, cartoonist Yuan Buyuan came up with a stage name for the young martial arts master, a name which in Chinese meant Young Dragon. Eventually, his name would become forever associated in the minds of Westerners with the dragon. In September 1946, 6-year-old Bruce Lee began his primary education in Hong Kong at the Raffles Institute. And before long, he had taken on child roles in no less than 20 movies, including Little Chung. While it is well known that Bruce Lee was extraordinarily intelligent and incredibly devoted to his filmmaking career, it is less well known that he disliked schoolwork, especially science subjects, and hated school discipline. However, in his own time, he read a great number of literary works. Bruce Lee's bad behavior at school and poor academic record in general resulted in him being forced to change schools a number of times, and when he finally managed to complete junior middle school, it was with no great merit. The future young dragon loved to play all manner of tricks on others. Members of his own family were not spared. But on top of this, the mischievous and energetic boy often stirred up trouble in the streets. Eventually, Lee realized he found it difficult to use up all his excess energy, and so he took up dancing. At the age of 14, he came first in a cha-cha competition held in Hong Kong. As Bruce Lee was growing up, he became a street hooligan known far and wide in Kowloon and Hong Kong. His parents couldn't think of a way to bridle their obstinate and untamed son. Bruce Lee's father, Lee Hai-chuan, began to teach his wild child Tai Chi in the hope that this form of martial arts, with its slow and gentle movements, might calm his son's stormy temper. But his efforts were to no avail. The boy continued to fight in the street and often inflicted injuries on older boys. Then at the age of 13, Bruce Lee met his first real match. His opponent was thinner and shorter and appeared, if anything, to be undernourished. But as soon as the two engaged in a fight, the smaller boy attacked with swift and unpredictable blows. Before Lee had a chance to strike back, he was already on the ground. Bruce Lee picked himself up, put aside the showy but useless movements he so often used, and fought back with all the genuine skills he could muster. But his opponent fended off his attacks with great agility, and with one jerk of his hand, pushed Bruce Lee up and backwards against a wall. This defeat in a street fight made the young Bruce Lee realize that the martial arts skills he had learned from stage performers were only suitable for stage performances. They were useless in a real fight. It was at this point that he resolved to study martial arts in earnest. He arranged to learn an excellent set of martial arts moves from a master in exchange for teaching the master the cha-cha.
他在少年时代曾经学习过北派精武门的功力拳、截拳这些拳法，而这些拳法呢，当时是学自香港精武体育会元老邵汉生师傅。那么邵师傅呢，功夫好，想学跳舞；李小龙呢，舞蹈好，想学功夫。于是有一天呢，少年李小龙就找到了邵汉生师傅，跟他说：“四叔，我想用我的舞蹈跟您交换一套拳，我教您舞蹈。” 您教我打拳，所以呢，四叔想了想就同意了。邵汉生师傅细心的教授李小龙跳舞，李小龙打拳，打功力拳、截拳。
Through a close friend, Bruce Lee's father, Lee Hai-chuan, asked famous martial arts master Ye Wen to accept the young man as a student. Ye Wen, a native of the city of Foshan in Guangdong province, had moved to Hong Kong in the 1940s to flee the war that was ravaging the mainland of China. There, he had set up a martial arts school to teach Yung Chuan boxing, one of the most famous forms of Southern-style martial arts. Ye Wen wasn't one to accept students easily, however, and he had long heard of the conduct of the rather infamous Bruce Lee. But in the end, he agreed to teach the boy for fear of hurting his friend's feelings. Fortunately, Ye Wen always had his students' best interests at heart. He did not forbid them learning martial arts skills from other martial arts teachers, and this is one reason why in the process of playing roles in movies, Bruce Lee learned many skills from older practitioners, skills that laid a solid foundation for him to found his own boxing style, Jeet Kune Do. Except for when he was acting in a film, Bruce Lee almost never engaged in any real work, and he continued to cause disturbances in the streets of Hong Kong. As soon as someone picked a fight, he would immediately fight back using his Yung Chuan boxing skills, and would not stop until he had beaten his opponent black and blue in the face. Inevitably, as his street reputation rose higher and higher, he gave offence to more and more people, and his parents became very worried. By this time, Bruce Lee was almost 18 years old, and his parents knew that if he stayed in Hong Kong much longer, he might well end up in even greater trouble. Lee Hai-chuan decided to send his son to the US.